Thank you for joining us. Today's talk is artificial intelligence, and it was presented as a magic show to a live audience in January of last year. Today's talk will be presented by Madalena and Ricardo.
Today in our presentation, Artificial Intelligence with a Magic Show, we started off in our live audience questions from participants. Then we did our AI magic show. However, today we're going to talk to you all about large language models. We'll discuss the user experience, we'll get into the AI landscape, and lastly we'll talk about the fourth revolution. Throughout this presentation, we will be asking you three big questions. These questions will help you better understand what artificial intelligence is and how it works. So today we'll be answering the questions: is it artificial, is it intelligent, and is it advanced enough to be indistinguishable from magic?
When the talk was presented to a live audience, we started with, are there any questions? We took questions from the audience. These questions were placed on the overhead screen, and they were answered throughout the presentation.
To start off our presentation, I'm going to go over what AI really is. Now, there's a lot of disagreement about what AI is and how it works. However, for the sake of our presentation, I'm going to tell you how artificial intelligence works in three simple phrases. Artificial intelligence is a technology that allows machines to learn, to reason, and to make decisions. For example, take machine learning. It starts off by being trained in large amounts of data, which is the learning component. Then it's able to recognize patterns, which is the reasoning component. And lastly, it's able to make predictions, which is the decision-making component of AI. Now that you understand what artificial intelligence really is, let's move on to the next part of our presentation.
The presentation to the live audience, we asked, what would you like to teach and to whom? And the first time we had the presentation, someone in the audience said, I would like to teach how to brush your teeth to, and somebody else said, a child. So this slide was populated with, I would like to teach a child how to brush his or her teeth. Now, we know that when it comes to teaching children things, the best way is to teach them, is to sing a song. Children learn songs. So in this case, we decided to be very interesting and very effective to develop a song, compose a song, teaching a child how to brush their teeth. Now remember, the audience spontaneously asked, what would you like to teach? Brush your teeth. To whom? To a child. On the screen, as this was being developed, a song appeared to teach a child how to brush their teeth. The song was generated by an artificial intelligence machine.
During this part, I actually sang the jingle that was created by ChatGPT using the ukulele and my beautiful voice to sing to the audience.
Okay, so that developed quite an audience response upon hearing Madalena's voice and accompanied by ukulele. And we decided to take it one step further. When else do you brush your teeth? And someone said, oh, I brush my teeth in the evening. Where? By the window. Really? And have you ever thought of an animal? And someone said, yes, I saw a dinosaur. A dinosaur doing what? Again, the audience is responding to our questions, and they said, I saw a dinosaur brushing its teeth by the window in the evening.
So from our previous slide, we actually clicked on a link in order to populate that image, and this is what we were able to receive. We have a dinosaur brushing his teeth by a window at sunset. The crowd was quite amazed with this ability of AI.
And once the audience had been calmed down from the euphoria of seeing a dinosaur brushing its teeth by the window at sunset, which again was created by AI, based on the audience's responses, we said, okay, let's write a poem in the form of, pick a poet, Shakespeare, Emily Dickinson, Langston Hughes, E.E. Cummings, no caps, and compose a poem in the style of this poet relate to the pictures that we showed. This was being done live by AI as the audience was watching it happening on screen. And so now we turn to the audience. Based on what you've seen, you will ask yourselves, AI, is AI artificial? Yes, it was created by humans. It is not naturally occurring. AI technology is designed to replicate or simulate human-like intelligence, but it is ultimately a human creation. It is artificial. AI is artificial. AI is created with programming languages, it has algorithms, and has data to simulate intelligent behavior and decision making. To simulate, it looks like intelligent. AI does not have consciousness. AI does not have emotions, and AI does not have subjective experiences like humans do.
Now that we've discussed and answered the question if artificial intelligence is really artificial, let's discuss if artificial intelligence is truly intelligent. Now, we all know that intelligence is such a subjective term, and that's why intelligence in AI might look different than intelligence in humans. Let's look at the presentation for an example. A human has around 100 trillion synaptic connections, while something like ChatGPT has only about 175 billion parameters. So you could look at that objectively and say that humans are quite obviously smarter than AI technology. And that could be true to a certain extent. However, just because humans are technically smarter doesn't mean that artificial intelligence is not intelligent. And I think the perfect way to sum up how humans are intelligent versus how AI is intelligent is by quoting the infamous Pablo Picasso. Now, Pablo Picasso once said, "Humans can ask the questions, while artificial intelligence can only answer them."
And so we come to the third question of our talk. Is AI indistinguishable from magic? This, by the way, comes from a phrase by Arthur C. Clarke. Any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. Look at your phones, for example. Today, you can talk with anybody anywhere in the world. You can have video conferences. You can watch shows, read the news, correspond. 30 years ago, 40 years ago, this would have been seen like magic bordering on sorcery, if not just outright lunacy. Watch this. At this point, Malena passes a hat. It's empty. I reach in and pull out a rabbit. The crowd goes crazy and we continue. Is AI magic like pulling a rabbit out of a hat? No, 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 no. AI makes predictions makes prediction, generates content, and solves problems in a human-like manner. AI is not magical. It operates on algorithms, on data and mathematical principles. AI is not magical. It's designed to analyze large amounts of data, learn patterns, and make predictions. So why do we consider AI magic? Well, it highlights a sense of wonder, and awe. It goes from witnessing its capabilities, it seems like magic. And it's going to change the course of human life as it evolves. What is the future of magic? AI advancements might do things that at once were considered science fiction. Think of your phone. AI will continue to grow, contributing to the sense of magic, doing more powerful, more versatile, more innovative things. And we must understand the underlying technology and its limitations to use AI effectively and responsibly.
In the same way, we don't know exactly how Ricardo was able to pull a rabbit out of a hat, We don't know exactly how large language models, or LLMs, are able to work. But today, you all are in luck because we're going to bring you behind the curtain and help you understand the inner workings of AI. So in order to fully understand artificial intelligence, you must first understand what large language models are. Now, large language models are deep learning algorithms that are able to conduct human-like functions.
We've discussed training large language models, and we've discussed learning. We have here a relatively simple example, an assortment of figures. And we've asked our simple AI engine, as it's happening on the screen, to find something that's common. So the large language model, this AI device that we have on our screen, starts lumping things together by what seems to be similar things. Red and red, apple and ruby. Round and round, the fruits and the signs of the zodiac. Yellowish and elongated, other things. And tries again and realizes that very rarely do these things go together. Instead, what seems to go together more often? A banana, an apple, and an orange. Because it's looked at data from the US Department of Agriculture, from school menus, from Publix advertised from the supermarket advertisements, and say usually when bananas and apples and oranges are mentioned, they usually go together. And again, it looks at coupons and gift magazines and advertisements and says, oh, diamonds and emeralds and rubies always seem to go together. It doesn't know that they're gems. It just knows that they go together. And these little round things called signs of the zodiac, they appear very often in things called horoscopes. So this model, as it's happening on the screen, has grouped gems together, fruits together, and signs of the zodiac together. It doesn't know what an apple is. It could care less what sign of the zodiac you are, and it doesn't know if you have a diamond on your finger or not. It just grouped them together by patterns, by similarities. Now, why do we say large language? Because it started looking around. Where else do bananas and oranges and apples appear? They always appear together, like I said, in supermarket advertisements. It's not brains, not rocket science. It just associates things.
So now that we've discussed the training and learning aspects of large language models, let's discuss vectors. Now, vectors in large language models play a crucial role in representing the various words and information. So to understand this, think of vectors as a mathematical fingerprint for words and pieces of text. So every word or piece of text is transformed into a unique vector, which is essentially a list of numbers. These numbers are then carefully chosen so that they capture important information about the word's meaning, context, and relationships with other words. So let's look at an example. Let's just say you ask a large language model to identify what this animal is. And at this moment, I'm pointing at the rhino on the screen. So right off the bat, you and I both know that the animal on the screen is a rhino. However, a large language model would see the picture of a rhino and compare that to other animals to determine what it is. So it would not know off the bat that this animal is a rhino. And so what it would do is it would look at the size and the color of the animal and compare it to the other animals. Since it is gray in color, it will be closer to a mouse or an elephant rather than a lobster or a giraffe. And since it's bigger in size, it will be closer to that of an elephant or a giraffe rather than a mouse or a lobster. And so it will continuously do this exact same thing over and over again until it matches the picture shown with the word rhino. And so large language models do this process almost instantaneously, and it produces the answer to the user. So if you look to the video on the right, you'll see that a large language model continuously makes more relationships between each vector until there is only one left, and it's able to arrive at the answer.
Thank you, Madalena. That's a very, very good, very complete, very detailed description of the vector models. Let's continue along those lines. Let's think of the word cat. Now, Madalena and I looked through Google last year, and we found there are roughly 9,200 descriptions for cat. So we decided to use the vectors. One vector is cat, plural, cats. Okay. Another one is cat related to size. Cat can be kitten. Another one is cat related to felines. You have cats as tigers and lions and snow leopards. Another vector is cat as a pet. Well, in pets we can have a puppy and a dog. And again, a dog, the vector for dog can be size. A little puppy, a German Shepherd called an Alsatian in France, or a pooch, or a poodle. So again, these are the vectors that Madeleine was talking about. For a cat, we found 9,200 vectors. And what we have there is this arrangement that depending on which way you go from cat, a vector will take you in different directions.
Now, we finished understanding the training and learning concept of large language models, and we also finished discussing vectors. So now let's go on to another important component of large language models, which is understanding what contextual learning is. Now, contextual learning is probably something that you've been doing since the age of 5 when you started learning to read. And large language models do the exact same thing. It's when you figure out the word and its meaning based on the other words in a sentence. So let's look at an example. Take the sentence, John wants his bank to cash a check. In this sentence, each of the words has a different meaning. So we'll start from the beginning. John, this could be the name of a man, or it could actually mean a toilet. Wants could be the verb of wanting something, or it could be the noun of a simple desire or a want. Then you have a bank, which could mean a body of water, or it could mean a financial institution. You have cash, which could be the actual physical object of money, or it can mean to go and to cash something. And lastly, you have a check, which could be a check mark, or it could be a check. Now, a large language model quickly makes these decisions of what a word means based on the context of the overall sentence. So the word want can be referring to a desire or physical object, but in this concept, they know that this is actually John wanting something. So contextual learning in these large language models allows them to look at these surrounding words and figure out the right meaning. So now we know that a man named John wants to go to a bank or a financial institution to go and to cash something, which is a check or a money order. And so it will continuously do this over and over again until it derives the meaning of the actual sentence that the user wants.
All right, thank you, Madeleine. That was very, very interesting. And let's think about that. We have contextual learning and we had vectors. Let's put them together. We can have vectors and contextual learning as part of vector arithmetic. You have, for example, in the case of nationalities, Swiss is to Switzerland as Cambodians are to Cambodia. Capitals, France, Paris to France as Berlin is to Germany. You can have the inverse, opposites. Unethical is to ethical, as possible is to impossible. You can have plurals. Mouse is to mice as dollar is to dollars. But what's more, with vector arithmetic, you can add, you can also subtract. Paris, take away France, add Germany, you end up with Berlin.
Wherever you are in the world right now, listening to this presentation, you're probably using artificial a lot more than you think, and you could even be using it right now. I mean, have you ever asked Siri to set a timer? Have you ever asked it to give you the weather forecast or tell you a joke? Or even when you lose your phone, have you ever asked, "Hey Siri," to locate it? Well, all of these instances, you're actually using artificial intelligence. And you might not know it, but you are probably using it in your everyday life a lot more than you think. For example, when you use Siri as an AI bot, it understands your voice and responds to your questions or commands. This is only one example of using AI where you might not have realized that it's being utilized. One of the important things to understand about artificial intelligence or large language models is that they're transparent to the user. Whether it's Bing, OpenAI, Anthropic, or Google, we have access to the raw knowledge and data that we need. All of these systems have made it so that it tailors to our individual needs. Large language models can provide users with outputs that are more interpretable or explainable. For example, they can generate explanations or justifications along with their responses, helping users understand why a certain answer or recommendation was provided. For example, take Google. When you search something in Google, it actually uses other users' input to understand and provide you with a more relevant response. So, this can enhance our transparency by making the reasoning behind the model's output more understandable. Today, we are witnessing something truly remarkable in the world of technology. We are witnessing the explosive growth of artificial intelligence. One true success story of this rapid success and growth of artificial intelligence is OpenAI. OpenAI has reached an incredible amount of popularity in such a short time. It reached, are you ready? 1 million users in only 5 days. Now, even though that sounds quite extraordinary, let's put things a little bit more into perspective. I have logos on the screen of other popular platforms, and I'm going to tell you how long it took for them each to reach around 1 million users. So for Snapchat, it took it about 8 months, Instagram 2 months, Twitter, also now known as X, about 2 years, Facebook 10 months, TikTok, it took about 2 years to reach 1 billion downloads, or around 6.5 days to reach 1 million. But with ChatGPT, as I said earlier, it took around 5 days to reach 1 million users. But it also reached 1 billion downloads in only 8 short months. Now, you must be asking yourself, what does all of this mean? It means that artificial intelligence is no longer a distant technology. It is becoming a part of our everyday lives, and we must continue to accept and adapt to this addition into our lives.
We can think of AI as the apple of our eye. It's at the peak. But what is below the apple? What feeds it? What are the nutrients? The apple, it sits atop a tree, and then you have an organic layer upon which the tree grows. And below that, we have the topsoil and the alluviation layer, which has the water, the subsoil. We have the parent rock, we have the bedrock. This is the stacks upon which the apple grows and flowers and blossoms. The same thing comes with AI. Yes, we have the AI apple, the Google, the Anthropic, but below that we have vertically integrated applications, application layers, tooling layers to make the applications work, cloud layers to store all the data, foundational layers to transform the data, and the hardware layer to process it. So again, looking at AI as the apple, you have layer upon layer upon layer, one depending on the other to make the apple blossom. So looking again at the stack layer model, we said, what are some examples of some companies that are in the stack layer model? Again, this is only for entertainment and information purposes. Madeline and I may own or invest in these companies. It is not investment advice. Instructional, entertainment values only. Vertically integrated, Adept, Inflection, Character.eye. Application layer, Typeface, Replit, Lindy, Sana. Tooling layer, Pinecone, Clarify, Scale, Longchains. Cloud platform, Amazon Web Services, Azure, Google Cloud. Foundation layer, today we have OpenAI, Anthropic, Hugging Face, Stability AI, and hardware layer, well, of course, we have NVIDIA, we have Amazon, we have the chip manufacturers. This is an example of a stack layer model in AI.
We are currently 50 years removed from our last industrial revolution. Now, Ricardo and I believe that we are currently standing in the midst of the fourth industrial revolution, which has been ignited by the fusion of physical, digital, and biological worlds. However, in order to truly understand the real impact of AI, we must go back to the beginning, to the first industrial revolution. Now, the first industrial revolution started in 1780, and it dealt with machinery, water power, and steam power. Now, around 86 years later, in 1890, we had the Industrial Revolution number 2, which dealt with the mass production, assembly line, and electricity. Now, 99 years later, we had the Industrial Revolution number 3, which occurred in 1969, and it dealt with the automation of computers and electronics. Now, it is crucial to understand where we have been in order to understand where we are going, and that's why we decided to discuss Industrial Revolution 1, 2, and 3 to you today. Our previous revolutions have laid the foundation for, as Ricardo will discuss next, the next phase in the digitization of the manufacturing sector.
Thank you, Madalena. That's a very nice overview of the revolutions we've had in the past 200 years. Which has advanced our human capabilities more in 200 years than almost 10,000 years. It's been a vertiginous speed. And as Madalena pointed out, you never really know you're in a revolution until it happened. But somehow we seem to sense it today. We seem to sense that there's a revolution going on. When did it start? How's it evolving? When will it end? We don't know. As Madalena pointed out, we've had revolutions before. But what's happening with this revolution? It's the next phase in the digitization of the manufacturing sector. We have connectivity, data and computational power interconnecting, cloud storage, blockchain, sensors. We have AI. We have advanced analytics, machine learning, artificial intelligence. Human-machine interaction, this is very, very, very important. We have virtual reality, we have robots, we have automation. We have something called advanced engineering. We have additive manufacturing. We have renewable energy. We have nanoparticles and nanomaterials. It's a completely new world we're getting into. And as Madalena pointed out, we don't know when it started. We feel we're in it, and we have no idea where it's taking us. So when we started the live presentation before the audiences, the various times we've given it, people asked questions at the beginning of the talk. And here were the answers provided by ChatGPT as we went along in our talk. It was a dynamic, interactive talk, and the questions were asked by the audience. The answer appeared on the screen, answered by ChatGPT.
Ricardo and I appreciate you all taking the time to listen to our presentation. Please be on the lookout for our next presentation, which is DNA, a scaffolding for artificial intelligence. And if you have any questions, please comment down below and we will try to answer them as soon as possible. Thank you, and we really appreciate the time.